Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and this is my review for Tokyo Ravens Episode 3. Now, it starts off with Harutora and Natsume. They're flying on this horse, Yukikaze, and they're going towards Suzuka. Once Suzuka actually sees them coming, she sends Tsuchigumo after them. They run away, they try to escape, they come back around and they try to talk Ninjutsu Suzuka. It doesn't work, she just gets angry, and she summons that artificial Shikigami from episode 1. So now they have two Shikigami chasing after them. They keep getting attacked from both sides now, and Harutora ends up using this thing called the self-defense sword. So he's trying to fight back with that, and Suzuka ends up starting the Taizan Fukin ritual. Harutora, he ends up falling off of Yukikaze, and Natsume actually summons Hokuto, except she's in the form of this dragon, one of the few remaining dragons, actually. And then there's this fight scene, a bunch of different fight scenes. Hokuto's keeping the Shikigami busy. Natsume removes the seal on the self-defense sword, and it becomes an enemy-destroying sword. So, interesting naming sense, I guess. I mean, not really, but Hokuto's been keeping them busy. Natsume takes a bow from Harutora. She lets him off on the ground, and he goes after Tsuchigumo to fight it, and uses this, weird energy type of attack. Like, the energy's traveling across the ground, and then it hits Tsuchigumo. Then Natsume takes the bow. Oh, Jesus. Takes the bow and shoots an arrow. And hits the talisman that's moving Tsuchigumo, but it ends up recovering pretty quickly and coming after them again. By this point, Hokuto is actually already beaten that artificial Shikigami, so then she holds back Tsuchigumo. Suzuka, it actually doesn't really matter because Suzuka's nearing the end of the ritual. So she ends up creating all these blood talismans that bind Harutora and Natsume to the ground, and they can't move. She finishes the ritual, and I don't really know how to describe it other than saying stuff falls down from the sky. This brown stuff, liquidy stuff, and it just falls on top of her and her brother. And all of a sudden, it disappears, but her brother starts to move, so she thinks the ritual's a success. But for the ritual, she's supposed to give up her life to give it to her brother, but she's still alive, so something's clearly gone wrong here. Then her brother gets up, and she's saying Oni-chan over and over and over and over. And thankfully, her brother starts strangling her so that she can actually stop. So that was kind of, not really, but kind of good. Harutora is watching this. He's still bound to the ground, and he's trying not to care, but it's not really working out too well for him. He ends up breaking free of the talismans. He sets Natsume free as well, actually. And then she's able to move, so she uses this talisman, and she destroys all the other talismans, and Harutora takes the sword and he runs over to where Suzuka and her brother are. He tries to stop Suzuka's brother. It doesn't work. There's this energy shield thing that's blocking him. Then as this black energy aura stuff shoots into the sky, and all this crazy stuff starts happening. Harutora he's been wearing this thing on his back for the entire episode. He throws it. The wooden it looks like one of those things that the Japanese have in their houses when someone in their family dies, and they'll burn incense for them. It looks like one of the a small version of one of those, but it's closed up. And he's been carrying it on his back. He throws it at the energy that's shooting up into the air, and he says something about the blood of the Tsuchimikado family, and hoping that will work. So it has something to do with the blood of the Tsuchimikado family. Like I said, it looked like one of those things that the Japanese used to burn incense to, like, onto their dead. So, well, maybe there was like something in there, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's just a way to stop Suzuka's brother, but it ends up making things spiral out of control. All this crazy stuff starts happening, and then we actually see this little small flashback of Yako and some woman, and the woman starts reciting a spell, and it switches back to present time, and Natsume is reciting the same spell. So that probably has something to do with the fact that Natsume is the reincarnation of Yako, and if she's not the reincarnation of Yako, she's the reincarnation of that woman. That's pretty much what all that scene is supposed to say, because it was pretty short. You don't really get too much out of it, other than the fact that Natsume is in fact the reincarnation of someone. She ends up using that spell, and all this crazy stuff starts to happen. Literally, like, spiral out of stuff. Literally starts to spiral out of control. She jumps on top of Harutora, tells him not to look at the sky, or else his spirit will be sucked away. So it's like some Sinbad level magic spell. It ends up finishing her. Suzuka's brother is dead again. She's crying. She asks Harutora to kill her. He says, no, you should bury your brother first. And that's pretty much it for this arc, I guess. Then we get a little bit of development, so that we can actually look forward to what's coming next. Some build up. It turns out that Harutora is going to move to Tokyo and enroll in Natsume's Omnioji prep school, along with Toji. Actually, Toji's going along, which is a good thing, because Toji's a cool character. So I like that development at the end. Well, maybe I don't, because at the end here it becomes obvious that, if it wasn't obvious from the fact that Natsume summoned Hokuto, it turns out that there are a bunch more hints dropped. So it's pretty much confirmed now. Not officially, but pretty much confirmed that Natsume is the one who created Hokuto. It's incredible how Harutora doesn't recognize it, because the words that Natsume says at one point are the exact quote that he himself remembered Hokuto saying just a couple minutes earlier in the episode. So, to be fair, in actual episode time for him, it was like a day that went by. So, but still, it's not. It doesn't matter. He remembered Hokuto saying those exact words the day before. He should have recognized Natsume saying them. What else? When Natsume called him Bakatora, he recognized it as something that only Hokuto would call him, and he still didn't connect the dots. That's something. Because of the tradition of the Tsuchimikado family, Natsume has to dress like a boy and pretend to be a boy. So, that's something. But Toji comes along after all this is going on, and he says that because of the paranormal spirit disaster that he was involved in a few years back, which is the reason why he was at Harutora's dad's clinic a couple episodes ago. But, last episode, I think. But, turns out that because of that incident, he can see spirits. He's a spirit seer, so he knew the whole time that Hokuto wasn't a human, that she was a familiar. And again, Natsume knew who Toji was, even though she never met him. She met him through Hokuto, so she knows who he is, but Harutora, again, can't connect the dots. So I enjoyed the fight scenes, and especially the ones involving Hokuto. Everything other than that, though, was just okay. Harutora was kind of annoying at the end. Natsume was cool. Suzuka actually got pretty annoying at the end, so that's not good. I don't really care that much. about what happened because I didn't know her brother for very long, so I don't really feel much. So, you know, I don't really feel much for her either because, again, the reason she was crying was because of her brother, who we didn't know for very long, so I don't really feel for her that much. It would have been, like, you know, it would have been better if we had gotten, like, more flashbacks of her brother, like, so we could actually see why she wanted to revive her brother so much. Then maybe we could feel for her more, but I guess the author just wanted to hurry up and get this little arc done so we could get to the main story, which is coming up next. We're going to be introduced to people at the Neoji Prep School next episode. So, yeah, that's that. I guess I'll give this episode a 7 out of 10. It was cool. It was carried mostly by the fight scenes with Hokuto, to be honest. The couple fight scenes with, like, Harutora and Natsume against Tsuchigumo. But that's pretty much it. I'll give this episode of Tokyo Ravens a 7 out of 10. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.